All right, welcome to The Scoop with Chris and Whitney. I'm Whitney Reed, National Sales Manager at BPI Sports.
And I am Chris McKenzie, VP of BPI Sports. And today, I am not starting with a corny joke written by Dennis, because we have one of the industry's funniest people coming in for our interview. We'll get to that in a moment. But before we do that, Whit, you and I have been traveling like two traveling fools. Where were you last week? Just got back from somewhere?
Just got back from my hometown, Richmond, Virginia. I went to Jay Cutler Classic. It's promoted by our good friend Kevin DeHaven.
Kevin, shout out every week, bro.
KD Promotions, is that his Facebook? I think it's KD Promotions. But ran a great show as always. It was tons of competitors, and it was cool for me to go back home to see a bunch of old friends from my old gym back home. Give another shout out to Wolfgang's gym. They were there, and great show as always. And Kevin looked great for a 50-year-old.
Great weekend to be in Virginia. Bring a helmet next time. All right.
And where were you?
So I spent a little more time than I wanted this week up in Canada. My flight home got canceled. One of the real treats of being a sales guy is unexpected nights on the road. But we went up there because BPI does have a great Canadian business, and I got to start off by thanking my friends over at GNC in Canada. Our brand's been given a lot of opportunities, and we're continuing to grow there. We got our pre-workouts and our BCAAs, really killing it. And if anyone's in Canada, I got to shout out our friends at Nutrition Club, John, James, Carissa, Tony, Derek, Jen. What an amazingly cool group of people we're working with up there. They know that market, they know the space, and they are just, if you could pick people to put on your business team, these would be the guys you'd pick. Great to work with. So very thrilled to be with Nutrition Club in Canada. In this town, North Bay.
North Bay, where's that? Geographically, where are you?
I think it's like 3 hours north of Toronto.
Okay.
And talk about small town America, or not even America. Pardon me. Talk about small town JV America.
Yeah.
No, so, I mean it is a really interesting old spot. So it was great to be up there. And interestingly enough, we went out to dinner and. Of all the people, Jerry O'Connell, is that the actor?
Yeah.
He was filming a movie at, there's only one restaurant
he still
in town.
films movies?
He's got a series. I think it's called Cooper or Clark or something. I don't know. We'll have to look it up. But yeah, they were shooting on location at the only restaurant in town. So we were there, and they wouldn't let us park in the parking lot. And they pulled in all these like almost nice cars, like a 2009 Benz,
right.
And I mean it was like, a Porsche Boxster that was probably about 6 years old. I guess they're trying to make it look a little bit more upscale, but always funny the shit you see on the road. So
some of the things we have coming up today.
Oh, you're gonna? Yeah, we got the preview.
Yeah.
Let's
got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
So we got an Olympia preview. We're not going to dig in too deep, but this year, don't forget, the Olympia is a week earlier than normal, so it's the 15th to the 16th, and BPI will be occupying booth 1466, and for fans of the sport, we are really putting our athletes with accessibility to the people, so you name it.
Yeah, so this is similar to what we did at the Arnold last year, but it's going to be a bigger booth. So there's going to be more athletes than we had at the Arnold, and this will be the first year at the Olympia that we aren't having the traditional booth. So
yeah, so we have let's run through the list. Jay Cutler, current Bikini Olympia champion, Courtney King, Jose Raymond, Logan Franklin, Norman Asura.
It's Asria.
Asria, pardon me. Sheena Jane Martin, who's also competing in the Olympia. I believe Stephen Chow is going to be out there too, from what I heard.
Tons of people.
Of course,
we're going to put the full
Reagan's
list.
girl.
Victoria will be there.
Yep.
We're going to put the full list in the bio.
And listen, if anybody wants to
Hold on, and Reagan.
Reagan,
yeah, he's not on the list. So
and if anyone wants to buy anything, Whitney and I will be there taking orders too. So let's not forget the important thing for our retail partners.
Maybe a live podcast from the Olympia.
If we can, but you know how it is with the internet.
Yeah, that internet.
So we'd love to record something.
So let me see.
Yeah, so full list of athletes will be in. Click the link in the bio, see the full list, and see who all is going to be there with us.
We want to announce our guest yet, or do you want to get right to the fire drill?
What do you guys want to jump in first? We can do, since we're talking about the Olympia.
Yeah, let's just say, since we're talking about the Olympia, special guest for today, good friend of ours, one of the best bodybuilders in the world, and one of my favorite people in bodybuilding, Jose Raymond.
Jose Raymond.
All right, so we'll cut it right there. If you want to give him a call, Whit, kind of make sure.
Yeah, let's see if this works.
And they're talking to him.
you're going to need to hold that near your microphone and
Without
find a
it.
spot where it doesn't echo.
Without it.
Like literally just hold it
Yeah.
like that distance away. Because whatever you did with Dave, it was good enough.
Yeah, at first it was a little, I had to find that sweet spot.
All right, we're live here with none other than Jose Raymond, everybody.
Woo! Well, all right, let's start with the easy stuff just to get conversation flowing. So, you're in full-on prep mode, huh?
Oh yeah, we got 3 weeks till the Olympia now.
Listen, man, I mean, we saw you in September at the Vitamin Shop trade show.
No, it was back in July.
Early July.
Yeah.
And you were massive. You were beginning to dial it in. And then I saw a couple pictures this week, which is about 5 weeks later, and you are peeled and full. I mean, give us a little bit about your past 2 months worth of training.
Well, as you said, you saw me a few months ago. I was about 230, and I changed quick, man. When I buckle down and start doing double cardio and cutting out the carbs, everything changes really fast. So I'm basically ready right now.
Yeah, no shit, man. You sent me a picture. You sent that picture, a week ago. And like I said, well, as Chris said, when we were with you at the PEC several weeks back, you were drinking chocolate martinis, and and now you look like you can step on stage. So whatever you're doing is definitely working.
Yeah, I'm ready to roll. I'm excited. This is the first time I've felt healthy in a couple of years. As you guys know, I had knee surgery last year. And, even though I was able to come back and do the Olympia last year after 4 months, I still wasn't 100%, And now, a little over a year later after surgery, I'm back to squatting heavy again. And, Chris, that you can train, but if you're not squatting, your whole body does not respond the same way that it does when you squat.
Amen, brother.
Yeah, I'm adding thickness all around, and I'm in great shape. So anyone that's been sleeping on me, I've been seeing some of the predictions out there, and they're leaving me out of them. So I don't know how that happened. But
hold on.
I
So
like being the underdog.
So hold on. What are the predictions saying now? I haven't seen anything. What's out there?
Just some armchair quarterback Facebook people doing a top 5, and my name ain't in there. And, I think they're crazy. So
I think that's happened 1 or 2 years before.
Yeah, well, judging by the picture that I saw from last weekend, then they're definitely missing the boat. And on top of that, I want to add this. You train heavy all year, even when you're dieted down, right? Like, so I saw an Instagram video of you yesterday, and it was probably one of the most impressive things I've seen in a long time, because you are peeled to the bone, and you were benching 405 for how many reps?
I did eight good ones.
Yeah, dude, that was strong. Unreal.
Yeah, I tell everyone that I'm at my strongest around, 3 to 4 weeks out from a show, because it's like a fine-oiled machine. Everything's going 100%. My diet, my sleep, my cardio, my supplementation, everything is 100%. So I'm actually at my strongest. I've added the most amount of muscle tissue by the 4-week out mark. So there's no reason that I wouldn't be at my strongest. A lot of people use dieting as an excuse to be lazy, when in fact it's probably the best time for you to be strong and have the craziest workouts.
Yeah, because you're getting all the nutrients. You're eating all the time. You've got enough water. Everything's going in your favor to be stronger. I agree with you on that, 100%.
Dude, amen. And listen, you are totally huge now. And even in your early days, back when we all were young, you always had crazy wheels. I mean, really big wheels. So your anecdote about squatting does not fall on deaf ears or small legs. I mean, it paid off, and shit, man, legs are the foundation. You got them. So I got a question for you. Let's put this Olympia aside.
Okay.
In preparation for this interview, not that I really needed to research you too much, because we've known each other for a pretty long time now, and you're a very easy to find guy. But the one thing I noticed, I don't know, I'm looking at one of the MD or something, your list of shows that you competed in, and these are only the ones that they list, is like a mile long. Let me ask you this question. in your career, it's a two-part question. What was the year and the first show you ever did? And then looking back at all of them, what was the one show you enjoyed the most? Maybe not necessarily for the outcome, but you're a fun dude. I mean, you know, the guys that compete with you, and like, what was some of the great moments if you look back on your career? You're going to say, you know what, that trip to Slovakia for the Slovakia Pro or whatever it was, that was fucking nuts. So that first show and awesome experience.
All right, I got a few answers to that. Number one, my first show was the New England Championships in 1993. I had graduated high school and then started really full bore with my brother because he was going to do it. And he convinced me kind of last minute to do it. And I was dieting with him and training with him. So I looked like I was ready to go. I was just a little hesitant to put on the trunks and get up there, you know. But I did it, and it was over. Back then, we only had one show in New England. That was it. And there was the crowd was packed, and I won the teen overall in front of over 1,000 fans, and I knew right then and there what I wanted to do, and I loved it, and you know, and it's been that way ever since. Now, as far as memorable moments, for me, the New York Pro in 2013, when I was not supposed to do the show, and I was actually slated to guest pose that weekend. And I got a last-minute call from Steve Weinberger, and he said, yeah, I heard you're guest posing in a show that's non-sanctioned event, and, you know, you're risking possibly getting fined. And I'm like, well, you know, what should I do? I'm like, you got to talk to MHP. They were the ones that booked it for me. And he said, well, you can come do the New York Pro. And Sami Al-Haddad, who was top of the world then, and, you know, he's a great competitor, he was slated to do it and probably the favorite going in.
Yeah, that dude's physique is nuts, yeah.
Yeah. So I said, all right, I'll do it. And this was 24 hours notice. I was still hairy. I shaved that night. Got up at like 4
Hey, and
in the morning.
you're a hairy dude.
And listen, wait, quick
Yeah,
side note. How many razors does it take to shave a kid like you?
Clippers, man. I clipped it. I didn't even shave it. So I drove down to New York that morning. I weighed in, put a coat of Protan on, and I came out on stage and nobody knew I was doing the show. And honestly, that was the first time in my life where a crowd kind of erupted, you know, when I went out on stage. Because one, I was at my best. I was big, hard, and full, and nobody was expecting me. And it was like I Pearl Harbored Sammy. You know, I came in and I beat his ass, and then the crowd went nuts. You know, it was so exciting, and it was just like one of those, you know, moments where you know you've arrived, and the fans were behind me, and you know, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, so
Another quick story that had nothing to do with me. We were in India at the Shiru Classic, and we were all backstage in like a locker room, and we could hear the crowd going nuts. There was 35,000 people there.
Holy shit.
And they were going nuts. Like, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, Phil and Kai must be fighting or something. So we all ran out to see what was going on. And when I tell you this crowd was going nuts, it was deafening. And all it was Jay Cutler at the mic speaking to them.
that's awesome.
I thought there was a fight going on, but they had never seen anything like Jay, you know? Jay is like a mythical character. So he was just doing a little speech, and the crowd was so loud you could have swore that there was a fight. That's exactly what I thought it was. I thought Kai and Phil were fighting on stage.
No, that's nuts. I mean,
Jay making a speech.
well, yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny because that Shiru show was such a big deal the year or two that he had it, and you know, we know from our sales experience, India's a really robust market, and it's totally crazy, and it's like the Wild West of the nutritional world. So there's a huge groundswell of interest there, and it's just a matter of who's going to be able to really galvanize it all and take it. And then there's, as you said, millions of dollars there. You know, 35,000 people in an arena to see bodybuilding, like shit like we've never seen here. And the other thing I want to say,
not even close.
you know, the one thing I want to say to you as a compliment is, you mentioned this like reception you got at the New York Pro back then. One comment I have for you is you are definitely one of the most, well-received dudes on social media. I mean, just a comment. It's not even a question, but dude, people love you, and you seem to connect with your fans, but also bodybuilding fans. I mean, I guess here's a question: What would you think about your persona or maybe your training style? Why do you think people are so drawn to the Jose Raymond journey?
Well, I think because it's real. People aren't dumb. They can tell it's genuine. Someone who's just genuinely has a passion and a love for the sport, and the difference between someone who's doing it for likes or clicks or followers. I don't personally care how many followers I have. I enjoy sharing my life and my story and my passion with the fans, and if they don't like it, they don't like it. If they do, then
they're willing to stick around.
There's going to be something else up soon, and that's what I do. I have my own YouTube channel, and nobody pays for it. I pay for it myself. I pay for the videographer. I pay for the editing, and I don't do it for anything. I don't do it to get my jollies off. I do it to connect with fans and to show them what I'm doing and who I am, and also to teach. Every one of my videos, there'll be a comedy aspect to it because I'm a joker. But there'll always be a learning moment where I can teach someone, whether it be a diet or exercise or just a life lesson. I try to make it informative and be able to connect with people, and so far so good. My fans can tell that I'm the real deal, that I absolutely love what I do.
You are the real deal.
And I've been doing it for 25 years.
Yeah, you are as...
That's not an accident.
December 29th, 1974. That's your birthday, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm reading off your bodybuilder pro. And
You
your
are...
social security number, if I'm not mistaken, is... No, sorry.
No, dude, you're as real as it gets. And then speaking of your YouTube, your videos are awesome. Obviously, it's got the comedy aspect to it because you are a funny-ass dude. But all these videos are great and they're well produced, and I don't know who you have editing that stuff, but they do an awesome job. And I mean, you get like 40, 50,000 views per video. I mean, that's extremely impressive. So your YouTube, your social media is extremely strong. It's popular. I don't know who wouldn't like to follow along. And plug your IG for us. What is that?
My IG is the Boston Mass, THEE, the one and only.
Who is the Boston Mass?
The Boston Mass. I'm not like technologically savvy. I don't know when to post things to make it get more hits or anything. I just do what I do and post it whenever I feel like it, And the guy that edits it, he knows me pretty well, so he gets my humor. He cuts down an hour of footage to like 12, 15 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to have to do the same with this interview.
So. Good job.
Hey, I want to ask you a question. Let's talk about, life outside the gym, but life outside the gym for people like you is life inside the gym too. How's being married? How has married life perhaps affected you personally in the gym? And do you still have that super adorable Newfoundland?
Yes, all the above.
All right.
Married life, we, as far as me being able to train and live the lifestyle, it's awesome. I couldn't ask for more because my wife is also a competitor. She turned pro at the Team Universe.
Woo!
This past July. Yep. She's awesome. And she's a pro bikini. So, we help each other a lot in that sense. And we're going through the toughest time of our relationship right now because we're building a house. And it is, if you've ever done that or renovated a house, we gutted it to the studs.
Oh, shit.
And we're doing everything from electrical to plumbing to walls, roof, floors, everything. And it's as stressful as can be,
Hell yeah, it is.
And, if we can make it through this, we can make it through anything. So far, so good. It's been awesome. And, we definitely have our tough times with certain issues regarding the house and whatnot, but we're getting through it. And we got 3 weeks till the Olympia. The house will be done right around then, so we're not going to
Oh, wow.
rush to move into the house before the Olympia. But, you know, as soon as I get back, I'll have a nice brand new home to move into. And, we can start our lives and hopefully soon follow you guys' footsteps and start pumping out some puppies, you know?
Dude, I'll tell you, it's the best part of life. I mean it seriously.
Yeah. And speaking of puppy, Chewy is my Newfoundland. He'll be 9 years old in November, and he's awesome. He's healthy as can be. He's happy. He loves his life, man. We spoil him, take him everywhere. You'll see him in a couple weeks when we go to that Absolute Nutrition in Chicopee.
Oh, yeah.
Big gym. All right.
Big gym at Absolute Nutrition.
So, one or two other questions. Name the one or two people in the industry you've met that you dislike the most. No, I'm just kidding. I won't put you on the spot like that, and I know the list is
great. That'd be great.
You know, when we have a drunken version of the Scoop podcast.
Yeah, we'll do this after you compete. Yeah.
But on that note, you know, and I don't want to use up too much of your time. Name one or two people that have really helped you in your career.
I would say Jay Cutler, huge. Jay is everything that every competitor wishes they could be, you know, from on stage to his training, to the way he handles himself, to the way he carries himself, the way he interacts with his fans, and just his business mind, you know.
Yeah, there's not many like that.
Cut from a different cloth, you know. And I've learned through the years, you know, Jay's always been a friend to me and always has been willing to give a helping hand or give me some advice and always believed in me, you know. Always thought that I could be the best at what I do. And you know, that's huge. You know, as a competitor, you got to have people behind you, you know, to support you. You can't have people tearing you down.
Yeah, you have to have that support system, and that kind of goes the same for both you and Jay. I mean, I'm not saying this just because you guys are, you know, my friends or anything, but you really are two of the most genuine, real, nicest people that I've ever met. So that goes a long way for both you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I definitely learned a lot from Jay, and you know, just Jay's always like, he believes in himself so much, yet he's not cocky, and he's not someone, you know, he knows there's always someone better, but you can be the best at what you do, and that's important. And I'll always remember that. So Jay's a huge inspiration, a huge motivation to me. And obviously my older brother, he's the one who got it all started.
Yeah.
He's the one who's always looked after me, you know, and believed in me from day one. I mean, before I was training, and to this day, you know, I talk to him every day, and he's a huge fan and a huge, you know, inspiration, and just, I wouldn't be where I am today without him. There's no doubt.
That's cool. What's the age difference between you and your brother?
He's 5.5 years older than me.
Okay.
And he looks 5 years younger.
Dude, that guy looks amazing. I mean, I can remember from back in the day, I mean, he always had one of the best physiques I'd ever seen in person. And, I mean, that guy, does he still train heavy like he used to?
He was as heavy as he can. So listen to this. He had both hips replaced last year.
Holy shit.
All right. And on the anniversary of his first hip replacement, he went and did a Spartan race.
What a maniac.
The other day. Listen, he placed 7th out of 3,500 people.
Oh my God, dude, you guys are nuts. There's something definitely wired a little different in both you and your brother that can make you guys do that shit.
Belief, you know.
It is.
You don't want to
That's
let
our next
anyone
interview.
beat him in anything, you know.
Yeah, can we get
competitive people I know.
Can we get your brother on an interview?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. That would be awesome. So what? Let's talk about future plans. What's next? I mean, you've got the Olympia coming up, and what's the next year look like for you?
Well, the Olympia is coming up, and then there's a whole tour of shows afterwards. I haven't 100% committed to all of them because they're in, you know, our world is a scary place right now. So
yeah.
One of the shows is in Korea, And,
I don't know if I'd go to South Korea at the moment. I don't know if that would.
Yeah, you know, so it's something I'm debating, but you know, if it's safe, I'll go. And then there's a Prague show, and then there's a Kuwait show.
Wow.
So you know, as a bodybuilder, if you're in shape, it's a good idea to hit a bunch of them right in a row, especially if you think you can do well.
Yeah.
You know, and then you know, just continue doing what I do, and try to get a little more savvy with the social media and keep reaching people as much as I can, because I know I'm going to do well, whether I win or not at the Olympia. I know I'm going to do well, and I'm going to reach a lot of people, and I want to be able to continue to do that and do it better. So that's the goal, and then whatever you know, BPI has in mind for me, hopefully we get some trips lined up and some ways to get out there.
Oh yeah, well we're gonna work you hard. Don't worry.
Into the house.
So let me set this question up. This is a great way to come into the end of the interview. You're in a weird spot because you've been at the height of your career for several years now, and from what I'm anticipating, this year will not be like you going downhill. This will be you maintaining the height of your career. But at the same time, you're in your mid-40s, you're thinking about becoming a dad. You know, the road ahead is interesting. What are your future plans?
He's there now.
What are your future plans, like maybe 5 or 10 years into things? Not necessarily next year, but as your career, listen, I mean, you're in great shape, so I'm not saying your career is going to end, but as your career ends, what's life after bodybuilding for Jose Raymond?
Well, I'll always be involved. You know, I love it that much. I'll always be involved. And I have so much to share. I have so much experience and knowledge that I want to continue helping other people and help people to not make the mistakes that I might have made. And, you know, I want to have my own thing. You know, I've been working out of gyms for 25 years.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of making gyms money. I'd like to make my own money.
Bro, count me in on the investor meeting. I want a piece of Boston Mass Incorporated when the gym opens.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something that I'm definitely going to do. And, you know, I don't like to think of life outside of bodybuilding, because they say once you stop planning for retirement, then you've already retired. And my mind isn't there yet. Now, realistically, you got to be smart and start planning your exit strategy. But I still think that I'm one of the best in the world at what I do, and I have to believe that. And I think I'm going to go to the Olympia and shake things up and prove a lot of people wrong who think, Jose's going downhill, Jose's old, he's washed up. You know, just wait and see.
Boom. Well, listen, I totally agree. So here's what I want to do. I think we're going to leave it here. I can't wait to see you in Vegas. And I also want to get you back into the scoop for, you and I talked about this once before. I really want to do a history of, I don't want to say the sport of bodybuilding, a history of the industry. Because, you know, like you said, your first show was 93. In about, you know, another couple years, it'll be a 30-year span of competing. I'd love to run down the historical landmarks of our industry, who was a big deal, who came and went. I mean, so many big forces have popped up and vanished. I mean, magazines that once you killed to get into are not making money anymore. I'd love to go down that road.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, all right, Jose, listen, you're the best. We can't wait to have you back on, and Whitney and I really thank you for your time.
All right, guys, I really appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to seeing you both real soon.
Oh, that Jose Raymond. Never a dull moment.
Can't get enough of that guy.
And listen, just in case we want to reiterate it, you can follow Jose. He's social media everywhere, but it's the Boston Mass, and Jose spells the with 2 E's. So
there is another
THEE, Boston Mass, and obviously that's a play on words because he's in Boston, Massachusetts, but he's also a massive guy.
But
so.
I wonder who the Boston.
Well, I just looked up the Boston Mass, and he has 741 followers, and I think a lot of people think it is Jose, or maybe I don't know what this is.
Well, that guy stinks.
Yeah.
And Jose doesn't.
Go on that guy's page
Right.
and tell him to give it to Jose.
That's why you need a dislike button.
Dislike.
Dennis, what's next? You going to cue this one up? It's the fire drill. We got 8 rapid fire questions. Whitney and I will try and answer. Question 1 goes to Whitney. Whitney, 1 tip to increase your bench press.
Lift heavy, don't be a pussy.
Great piece.
All right, Chris, 1 healthy food you eat every day.
I'm going to go with Greek yogurt. I catch a lot of shit for it because people don't love dairy, but
Yeah,
I got no problems with Greek yogurt.
You can
man.
diet on Greek yogurt. Nobody else can. All right.
Me to you.
Yep.
Best foods for late night or midnight snacks.
Egg whites. I've been doing it for years. Every night have a huge bowl of egg whites. What was the first supplement you ever purchased?
Okay, I'm going to give you 2 answers. First supplement I ever wanted to purchase was the Cybergenics kit, which was like a late 80s infomercial thing, and it was like 8,000 pills in a structured manner, but my parents were not having it.
What a cool commercial, too.
Yeah, and those guys are still in the game. I mean, we know them.
Yeah.
So, but the first thing I ever bought was a protein supplement. It was from GNC, and it was probably the cheapest protein they made. And, you know, I used to shake it up in a pickle jar because my parents had a Cuisinart instead of a blender. So it didn't work.
Remember
right.
those first shakes where you would try to blend it and wouldn't blend, and it would make you sick. You would drink so much of it because I would mix it with milk. I didn't know, and it would just sit there and take you 2 hours to drink those.
Well, and I know when we get hung up in the fire drill, it's supposed to be fast. But then Weider made that Mega Mass 4000 with Mike Matarazzo on the bag, and that stuff. I mean, gallon of water to half a scoop. Anyway, keep going. Next question for you, Whitney. What is the most impressive feat you've ever seen live in person in the gym? No Instagram BS.
Yep.
No fake weights. Potentially fake weights. Nothing.
No fake weights here. My buddy was 20 years old. He was in college. He went to Virginia Military Institute and played football, and he squatted 715 raw. He was a beast. How about you? I know you've seen some stuff. How about you?
You know, I don't know if anyone remembers this guy, Jean-Pierre Fuchs or something was his name, and he was doing a photo shoot in the 90s, and both his knees tore at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's you can Google it. I mean, that image is iconic. Flex was shooting him.
Yeah, Flex was shooting him, yeah.
Ironic timing to that, about a week later, we had a guy at my gym who was a pro in the NABA organization. Not that they do too much, but really big guy. His name was Billy. He was super nice. He sold reverse osmosis water filters for a living. Same exact thing happened to the dude. Like a week after it, tore both patellas totally.
Same exercise?
Yeah, same thing. Doing squats, warming up, and I mean, the dude went into shock in the gym, and it was massive. So everything he lifted was impressive, but that one really left a mark.
Yeah, but if you haven't seen that Flex magazine, you got to look that up.
Yeah,
can we put that in the bio?
Yeah,
can we click the link? Yeah, click
Watch at your own risk.
Yeah,
definitely.
Totally. And watch through your fingers.
Definitely.
Whit, how much water are you drinking a given day?
A minimum of a gallon.
Yep. And
do you? Oh, wait a second. Did we get those?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you include any stretching in your workout? I know you do.
So listen, I actually feel guilty. I don't stretch more. I do warm up a lot, but it's normally with lighter weights, and I only stretch my lower back and my shoulders. So any guys out there that are doing yoga or Pilates, I envy you, and you're onto something good. Whitney, summer's over, bro. 3 tips for the winter bulk.
Eat, eat, eat.
All right.
There's nothing else to say.
I love it. Other news, coming to the news. Sad news this weekend. You know, Whitney and I always talk about a lot of our desire to get fit was born out of, like, a lot of people. People always say comic books or superheroes or pro wrestlers. And Ric Flair, not necessarily like one of the best physiques, although he certainly worked out plenty. He owned a bunch of gyms in the 80s, you know.
The Gold's Gym, Ric Flair back in North Carolina. That was
those guys in the South, it's a legend. And Ric Flair apparently had some health issues this weekend, which, you know, when you put your body through that kind of nonstop stuff. But
I mean, it's not even surprising anymore with wrestlers. I mean, we're watching our favorite guys drop like flies.
Yeah, they're dying every year. It's pretty sad. The guys that we grew up watching are all passing away. And
well, before we do, I want to just say, you know, Ric Flair's family did ask. The only thing they asked for was for good vibes and thoughts to be sent out. And although Ric Flair played a heel, people always loved him, man. And I hope he recovers. I enjoy Ric Flair. I've yelled "woo" many a time in my days. And I wish I could do a better impression right now, so I'll hold off. But on that note, let's talk about our childhood psyches. Whit, you watched wrestling as a kid?
Every day. I mean, that was, you know, you said earlier that really was what motivated me to get to the gym. I mean, more so than any sports or anything else. It was watching those guys, you know, going to the Richmond Coliseum growing up. I mean, that's like some of the most memorable moments of my life. And I just wanted to look like those guys. And you know, what would you consider top 5 physiques in wrestling of all time?
We did talk about our top 5, and we're going to start with the honorable mention list. And listen, I know a lot of people are going to say that we can't believe this one's number one, but honorable mention outside the top 5, we gave to Scott Steiner. Second honorable mention, because these guys definitely motivated me to bench press, was the Road Warriors. And to keep it a little bit more contemporary, Seth Rollins has a great physique, and
yeah, he's not overly impressive as far as like a big guy, but just good physique. He's in great shape. I think he said he does some CrossFit or something.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot. One thing I like about Seth Rollins is outside of his wrestling persona, a lot of what I see from him is him in the gym, CrossFit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not like muscled like the top 5 guys we'll talk about, but I'll bet he could like snatch more than your average big dude. So
Whatever
Seth Rollins,
I don't even know what that is.
listen, I mean, Seth, I know you were texting me the other day to come on the show. It is an open invitation for you, brah, so just let me know when you're interested. Into the top 5 list, I'm going to say our first one because this was definitely one of my childhood favorites. Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. This guy was peeled and jacked like ahead of his time, and really my funniest thing with him is he looked so big when I was a kid, and now when I see the picture of him, he's still in great shape and still fit, and he always had abs, but
yeah,
dude, if this guy weighed 190 pounds, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I know. A lot of the mystique is taken away as we've gotten older and we're training, and you see some of these guys that back in the 80s we thought were huge, and then once we started working out and training and getting bigger, they're not as big as we thought. But
guy stayed in shape. I mean, listen, how long was his career? 15 years?
Oh yeah, at least.
I mean,
he stuck around forever. I mean,
stayed in shape for 15 straight years.
Don't you remember, like even back to like the mid to late 90s, he hung around the WCW, and that was after he had like what is
something with his back?
Well, he had like I don't know if it was Parkinson's or there was some issue with his arm, and he couldn't use, he didn't have total control of his right arm at the end there, and he started losing size on his arm. It's kind of sad to see because that guy did have an amazing physique, and if you go back to the mid 80s, he had one of the best feuds with Hulk Hogan.
Oh man, it was at WrestleMania 1, 2, and 3.
That's right.
Yeah. So who do you got for number 4?
Yeah, number 4, maybe kind of a lesser known guy, but Kerry Von Erich of the Von Erich clan. If anybody remembers him as the Texas Tornado in the WWF in like the late 80s, early 90s, that guy looked like a bodybuilder in the ring. I mean, didn't look like most wrestlers, are big, kind of sloppy, out of shape fat guys. This guy was jacked. You could definitely tell he spent a lot of time in the gym. And, unfortunately, if you look at the history of the Von Erichs, there's a real sad story with the entire family.
Every one of them.
A lot of tragedy in that family.
But they ran the Texas Wrestling League,
yes.
And I don't remember the exact name of it, but it was like before the WE took over, there were a bunch, and the Von Erich family was an anchor, and this dude was the most jacked piece of the anchor. What do you got, number 3?
Number 3, let's go with somebody current. John Cena. Everybody knows John Cena.
My daughter has the biggest crush on John Cena. She's 11 now. She loves John Cena.
You took her to see John Cena, right?
Well, we took her to Miami for wrestling. He was on the card. And to John Cena's credit, everybody that wrestled that night on the card in Miami around New Year's this year was great. And there were some good names there. The Miz was there. I can't remember. But you can tell a professional at the top of his game, no matter what the game is, over everyone else. And just John Cena's ring presence, his moves. Yeah. I mean, like...
Dude, you should have seen when The Rock was
in
Miami. Whenever we used to go see... It would just be like, with our call, like Jose Raymond, everything stopped.
Yeah.
And The Rock walked in, and people... I mean, you don't know if...
Takes the air out of the building, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Number 2?
Number 2 is, my favorite of all time. Most people hated him back in the day in the WWF, but Ravishing Rick Rude. I thought he had the coolest entrance to the ring, and back in the 80s he was kind of a skinny dude, and same thing with what we were talking about with Mr. Wonderful. I thought he was really big when I was like 7 or 8, but he in the mid 80s he wasn't. He was a really thin dude, but then in like the 90s, in the late 90s, he got jacked. I mean, that guy was a beast, probably 240 pounds or so.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I'll say about Rick Rude's physique, if he looked the way he looked nowadays, if he could bring that now, he would be a world champion physique competitor.
Yeah,
I mean, he had the delts and the pecs and lean but full. He had that whole look.
Yeah, unfortunately, he passed away back in, 10 years ago now? 12 years? It's been a while. I mean, I think out of this list, bright
lights burn out fast.
Yeah, that's tough. But he did, I don't know if you remember, but he did when I was young, I would wear the tights and the robe, and I would walk out into my living room and pull the robe open and tell the crowd to shut up while I disrobe. That was the Rick Rude move.
Rick Rude, managed by Bobby the Brain Heenan. And number 1 on the list.
Number 1.
Whitney's wearing the shirt today, if you guys could see it, the Ultimate Warrior. And not much to say about his physique other than it was like the fucking most impressive physique there was.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, geez.
Complete.
Yeah. Abs, giant quads, huge arms, big delts. I remember he used to say when he was feuding with Hogan, Hulk Hogan, run laps around my back, because his back was like fucking 5 feet wide.
He did the best promos ever too.
He was the first guy I saw where you saw like striations on his chest when he flexed.
Yeah, and that guy was ripped up until the day he passed away as well, because he, in his, I don't know.
Recently enough, about 3 years ago, I think it was a heart attack.
Yeah.
It all catches up with them, and it kind of goes into our next topic, which is our Freak of the Week.
Freak of the week. All right.
Freak of our.
So just put it in context. We talked about Marshawn Lynch, talked about that swimming guy, Michael Phelps, and our first one was James Harrison. So
right.
Looking for some really impressive guys currently in the sports world.
Well, this guy is definitely impressive. And if you've been paying attention to the MLB in the past week and a half, Giancarlo Stanton, local guy here, Miami Marlins, he is a beast. How tall is he? Was he 6'3", 6'4"?
He just keeps getting bigger. He keeps getting taller and bigger. But he is, him and Aaron Judge are probably like the specimens of the MLB right now.
Yeah, they're the face of the MLB right now as well. And if over the past week, I think he had 6 straight games with home runs.
Leading the league right now.
Leading the league. He did come out with an article. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday? Kind of denouncing the home run record of 73 home runs, which is it's
the original Juice Master.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. I love Barry Bonds, so I won't say anything about that. But he kind of denounced the 73 home runs as being the real number he's after, and saying that didn't count because of the steroid era, which I totally disagree with, because I think baseball would be completely dead if it wasn't for that steroid era. So he's looking at the all-time number is 61, and up until the late 90s or whatever it was, 61 was the number everybody was reaching for, and I'm going to say he's going to hit it. He's well on his way to that number, and it's only been 5 players to ever hit over 60 home runs in a season, and that's going to include Babe Ruth, Roger Maris, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, and Barry Bonds. But I have to say he needs to look over his shoulder. Giancarlo Stanton might be included in the list in the steroid area, because that guy's jacked.
Yeah, listen, I don't watch much baseball, and even living in the Miami market, I'm still not even that tight with his story. But, the one thing I'll say is some of the trainers, you remember the Balco Lab stuff. It is crazy, and I will say this. When Sammy Sosa was hitting him in the late 90s, dude, the guy was like, huge. I mean, he's #1 on the wrestling list. Right. It beats the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, he was huge and peeled, and 56-inch chest and 28-inch waist. And everybody's like, yeah, he's a great hitter. What are you going to do?
Yeah, this forearm. Mark McGwire and Sosa as well. Have you seen Sosa lately, by the way?
I don't even know how to. He got that vertilago, whatever that Michael Jackson had.
Definitely doesn't.
He's
look
a
like
white guy now.
Yeah,
his skin went white. It's really weird. I mean, it's natural. I don't think there's anything.
No, that's nothing.
But yeah, he looks. He was a freak back then, and he's he's got a freak appeal now.
Yeah.
So, definitely impressive.
Okay, so we have a new segment here. Dennis, what are we calling this?
Call this the Ohearnology.
Ohearnology. So we decided to come up with a couple of fitness tips from our good friend Mike O'Hearn. I mean, if anybody's followed this guy's career, I mean, he's an absolute beast in the gym, and whatever he's doing, he's doing something right, because he's in his 40s, I don't know, 45, 46, whatever he is, maybe older, and he seems to be getting stronger and bigger every year. So I reached out to him to ask him for his fitness tip of the week. Okay, so Ohearnology #1. His recommendation is to slow down and focus on tearing the fibers over chasing the pump.
Okay.
Who's a pump? Who would be a pump guy in our world?
KD's a pump guy.
Kevin DeHaven, another strike 12 against the pump.
He's always preaching the pump.
Got to get some blood in that muscle.
Yeah, I'm going to go with O'Hearn on this one. Definitely slow down and tear down the muscle fiber.
All right, so listen, we all love O'Hearn because he's been in the spotlight and remains a social media guy, so he's always cool to liaison with. So things we do on the show, we do the speed round. If you have any questions there, we do like to have topics. We do have a freak of the week if you know anyone or see anything.
Or if you are.
Or yeah, even if you think you could do it. All you got to do is let Dennis know. And your question, how do you get to Dennis? DENIZ@bpisports.net.
Terrible.
Dennis loves emails, especially if there's like open-ended questions and follow-up work. Dennis will be all over it. So Dennis at BPIsports.net.
Especially late at night. I mean, he loves to group text late at night. So we at some point we'll give out his number and get it on our group text that we.
My address.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna keep us moving here because the show has gotten a little long. That Jose interview definitely, you can't get enough of that. So we do want to do one athlete spotlight real quick of a Team BPI member, Sheena Jane Martin. She has a really cool story. I have not met her, although I believe she'll be at the Olympia. So apparently she has an interesting resume. Ballerina, lawyer, and a competitor that's in the Olympia. 5 years ago, Sheena was working as a commercial lawyer, and to stay fit, she fell back into her dancing background and started teaching group fitness classes at her gym. And she found herself spending a lot of time in the gym, and that inspired her to do a bikini competition. And 6 months later, I guess she must have gone to the Nationals or something and became an IFBB pro. And she decided to give up the lawyer money for the IFBB pro money, which is almost comparable. Close. But if you do it right, no, listen, the thing with living as a professional IFBB athlete, it's not about what you get paid, it's what you go out and earn. And she started her own personal training business, I understand. She's now competed 24 times, 20 as a pro, including the 2016 Olympia, where she became the first bikini pro from New Zealand ever to qualify and compete in the Bikini Olympia. So she'll be returning to the stage this year, and she's obviously hoping on some of the top spots. So I look forward to meeting her.
Yeah, and she's in great shape. You want to plug her Instagram here?
Yeah.
It's Sheena Jane. It's SHEENAJAYNE_fitness.
Cool. Next segment we usually have is our demo rep of the week, and we got a great one this week.
Absolutely. This week, our demo rep of the week is also the guy that manages our warehouse. He's a good friend of ours, and he's been with BPI for how many years now? 6, 7 years? How long has Alex been around?
At least 5 or 6.
So
yeah.
Alex Gonzalez is our demo rep of the week, and he just started up about 2 weeks ago, and I think he's already done 50 demos.
Yeah,
It's been nonstop.
Yeah, the hardest working guy you'll ever meet, and he wanted to get more involved with the business.
Never complains once.
Never.
Never heard him.
Never. I mean, this guy came back to the office about 3 weeks ago and was talking about he wanted to get into the demo program. We got him enrolled. So he's working in our warehouse 8 or 9 hours a day, sweating, and then he goes and jumps in the shower, goes directly to a local GNC or vitamin shop, and he's doing one or two of those a week now.
And back 3 or 4 years ago, when we had our first body transformation challenge internal, we have that once a year or so. Alex was the winner of that, and I think he went. Alex is only about 5'5", so when you're starting at 210,
he was over.
My pudgy little friend, it should be a good transformation, but this kid killed it. And he wound up super lean and jacked. He had one of the better guys here coaching him for that contest. I think that helped. It was me.
Who was that?
But Alex, listen, you are a star. The sales guys, we love you. You take care of our orders. You keep our customers happy, and unless any of our customers are going to chime in and email Dennis with their complaints. So, no, you're great. We appreciate you. We thank you for everything you do, and you're one of the guys that motivates everyone else here to work their best. So, thanks,
so let's plug his Instagram real quick. It's AlexG_2489, and I believe he has a coupon code. I don't know where that is. I wanted to plug that, but I can't find it. But anyway, go check out his Instagram. Really great guy. Thank you, Alex.
Yep. Now we're heading to the home stretch here, so let's get a little bit, let's get a little cheesy and pluggy. Here we go.
Let's get shameless.
CLA carnitine, 2 great ingredients. BPI Sports is one of the first guys to combine them in a powdered product, and that little bit of what they call white space in the industry or innovation has launched a really awesome SKU. CLA plus carnitine is a great weight management body composition product. Also helps with any aspect of dieting and physical fitness. We have an amazing flavor profile on them. I think we've got about 4 or 5 flavors. I know GNC kills it. Heading into Vitamin Shop now, and it's on fire. If you're looking to get lean, stay lean, or preserve muscle, I can't say enough good stuff about CLA and carnitine.
Are you going to plug the Aminos too, or no?
No, because I plugged them last week.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, and I just want to touch back on the Vitamin Shop, the keto selection that Vitamin Shop has. That starting off with the Keto Bomb, the Keto Weight Loss, the entire group of keto products that we have on the shelf at Vitamin Shop.
Edge page as well.
Yeah, Vitamin Shop Edge. Go check it out. And Also, be on the lookout in early September. Our best BCA with energy will be hitting shelf, so that's coming up soon.
Great skew. And so, Whit, listen, I think we covered a lot of ground today, and definitely Jose leaves you reeling every time you talk to him. So,
oh, absolutely.
I got to go to my desk and drink like 15 cups of coffee and get myself back together because that was quite a fun ride. So, everybody, listen. Whitney and I are very grateful people listen to this. This is a rare moment for us to just show the passion that we have and BPI has for the industry, both from the retail side, the online side, the competitive side, nutrition's broader outreach into the sports and fitness world. And I am so grateful we get the chance to do it. Please join us every Wednesday on iTunes. You can also find the entire podcast for free on the BPI Sports YouTube channel and bpisports.com. Until next time, remember, when you're in the gym, don't be a pussy.